Well, hello everyone. Welcome in to Betting Weekly Live. It's Thursday, the 12th of February. Here with Steve Wyss and Lewis Jones. I hope everyone's doing really, really well. Lewis, how has your midweek Premier League card been so far?
Well, yeah, good afternoon to everyone. Good morning, those in the States, obviously. How's my Premier League midweek gone? As you can tell by my reaction, not the best, I think, Steve, is the way. Very frustrating. Especially yesterday on the day. I was on the show yesterday, obviously, and we put up the very good case for Jefferson Lerma to have a shot for Crystal Palace as part of the daily double. And that leg, unfortunately, let us down because of Lerma was replaced at half-time after having an absolute stinker in the first half where he actually scored an own goal, Steve. So technically, he did have a shot, just in the wrong end. So maybe we should have a petition within the bookmaking circles to make own goals count as official shots for players, because that would have meant the daily double would have romped in yesterday, because the unders in the Nottingham Forest and Wolves game absolutely flew in a 0-0 draw there. So, very frustrating result in terms of Lerma yesterday. But, always it was the huge storyline at Nottingham Forest, which exploded in the end last night, wasn't it? With Sean Dyche losing his job, I think, at just gone midnight our time, which was lovely for those of us like me who are working on a late shift in their job as a football journalist. So it was, an interesting evening, and went on a little bit too longer than we planned. But yeah, big story like that. And that's 2 days in a row now a manager has been sacked. And it's the merry-go-round is in full swing in the Premier League, isn't it?
It's absolutely incredible what's been going on. We'll talk about Sean Dyche in a minute. But yeah, it's been, I think, a tricky midweek slate. I'm down myself on it. The Man City game let me down yesterday. I really fancy Fulham to do well in that game. I was on a few of their players as well. Chukwueze, I think he's someone that's getting hot, but City dealt with him really well. Mark Gay had a really good game for Man City yesterday, which was such a frustration. That was a really good City performance, in all honesty, throughout the whole 90 minutes.
I was on the same line as you, Steve, really. It was so I put up the shots on target for Fulham line on the show, and both teams to score was a really interesting angle. I thought price moved a little bit, so we sort of moved away from that. But just looking at the data, I say you probably saw more of the game than I did. But Fulham actually won the XG battle and had more shots in the end than Man City. And obviously game state plays a big part in that, because City were cruising. But yeah, I think those that were on Fulham yesterday, where it was both teams to score on the shots on target, they had 3, we needed just 4. But I think they had 15 shots in the game, so only to get 3 shots on target from 15 shots was a little bit of an annoyance. But yeah, I think Fulham are still a team to follow when it comes to sort of both teams to score and shots bets, because they're very consistent in their approach and they're very reliable, I think, as a Premier League team. And in a season of inconsistencies where teams seem to change their performance levels week to week, I think teams like Fulham are ones to keep on side, because you know exactly what you're going to get. But as you said, Man City just too good, and could they be just timing their run at the perfect time, Steve? It's going to be an exciting end to the season, I think.
I think if Arsenal start to blink a little bit, and then City might be there to pounce. That was the first time, honestly, yesterday I looked at Man City and I thought, do you know what? These guys are serious, because that was a complete performance. And maybe they just really kicked on from that Liverpool result, turning it around. It can happen that way. But it was generally frustrating game for bettors. Biggest soccer bet yesterday was in that game. It was a loser, $25,000 on over 3.5 goals live at -139. So don't know when it was placed, but it could well have been placed at 3-0 for all we know. But again, frustration, really. There should have been more than 3 goals in the game. It's a Burnley fixture. This is a crazy winner. $28 was placed. Crystal Palace versus Burnley live, over 4.5 first half goals at 40-1. I mean, it was 2-0 to Palace.
That is an incredible
win. Isn't it?
That makes no sense on any level, really, in terms of where that comes from. I mean, the bet was Palace to win to 0, wasn't it? That was the one on everyone's lips yesterday. But Burnley to score 3 goals in 5 minutes just sums up how crazy the Premier League has been this season in terms of things can happen that just make no sense. And that puts us in very problematic situations as people that are trying to predict what's going on and trying to find value. But hey, we dust ourselves down and we go again, because there's always another game. There's always another chance. We got a couple of great games to get stuck into today.
$50 was also placed on Burnley live on the money line at 33-1.
Wow.
And that particular bet at $1,650. So, yeah, incredible. Bets that I would not have seen. I would not have considered placing. Fair play to those particular bettors. I want to welcome everyone into chat. Ray Burke, good to see you. John Tate, Byron, Villa fan, Ming, Duncan, William Jenner as well. Steve from Lynn, Villa fan. And yes, I did. I went with a bit of a different intro music today. I do like the guitar in that. I need more guitar, less of the vocals in that one, but I do like the guitar in that intro. Wake you all up a little bit. A guy called A. John Tate says Palace were not the races yesterday. Just looking through some more. Palace and their continued free fall is a concern for people. They've got Wolves, I think, next, haven't they? They need to win that game. Otherwise, I think they might well be looking over their shoulders. Few questions about Sean Dyche as well. And, well, yeah, I mean, it's the second straight day that you've come on the show and we've got another managerial firing in the Premier League, the 8th firing of the season. Sean Dyche has been given his marching orders by the Nottingham Forest owner, and it's the 3rd change at Forest this season. What is your take on the goings on at Nottingham Forest, really? And Vitor Pereira, I don't know if he's been confirmed as being appointed, but it looks like they're going to get him in. I am, for the first time, thinking they could be in a bit of trouble here, Lewis. It's an absolute mess. This owner, and I've got to be careful what I say, otherwise he'll probably sue the show. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure about his methods, for want of a better word. What say you?
I think that's the biggest understatement of the century there, Steve. Yeah, it's been in turmoil really all season that they'd Nottingham Forest. It was supposed to be remember the start of the season, it was supposed to be one that the fans and the club be very, very excited about. I mean, so much joy was had last season, getting into Europe, building a team which were just so hard, difficult to beat, and very, very cohesive as a unit and everything. They had so much going for them, and then obviously they've had a bit of they've had a go in the summer as well, didn't they? Spent a lot of money on a lot of forward-thinking players, but just ever since the falling out between sort of Nuno and the boss Marinakis, it's really been just bad decision after bad decision, really. And I suppose this is another case of a football club where actually achieving something does bring a lot of pressure to the table, and that sort of opportunity that the chairman or the owner has seen and gone for does bring so much pressure to the table to achieve it, I think. And they've struggled with that all season, I think, Forest, in terms of dealing with the added expectation of what they perceive to be think they should be achieving this season. So yeah, they've gone from sort of like having a season full of hope and promise to now being embroiled in an absolute relegation scrap against the manager, obviously, that they allowed to leave or sacked earlier this season. And he's got West Ham playing brilliantly, isn't he, Nuno? So they're the ones chasing Forest down. It's just how funny how football can work sometimes. And yeah, I think the line is at the moment that Pereira has accepted their offer of taking the job. So I think we're just awaiting confirmation that Vitor Pereira is going to be the new Nottingham Forest manager. But you don't really hire Pereira for a long time, do you? You hire him for a good time, so to speak, because he is just the definition of short-term manager, I think. And I can totally see why you would go and try and get him, because he did a similar job at Wolves last season where he came in a very difficult situation and managed to just put a few wins together and get results. And that's all Forest need, really, don't they? Just need probably 4 wins to stay up between now and the end of the season. Perhaps that's why Marinakis is looking at it thinking Pereira could come in and just do a job for 10 games and get those 4 wins that they need. But the whole thing the thing that really sort of just stumps me and just confuses me beyond belief is the fact that probably the perfect man to replace Sean Dyche, Steve, is Sean Dyche, because he's exactly the type of manager you want in this situation. I'm pretty confident that Forest wouldn't have gone down if Sean Dyche would have stayed as the manager. I think that they would have had enough. They absolutely battered Wolves yesterday. I mean, 35 shots, nearly 3 XG. They did everything but score in that match. And you play that game 100 times, they win that game 95 times probably. So I think he probably was very unlucky to lose his job last night. And if they just got one of those goals, then he'd still be in a job right now, wouldn't he? So it's such the fine margins and the ability for an incident here or there to just change completely the way that a chairman or an owner thinks is bonkers. No long-term planning at Forest this season. It's all about staying up because they've rolled the dice in the summer and spent a lot of money. So relegation would be an absolute disaster for him. And he's panicking, the owner, isn't he? Absolutely panicking.
Big time. Yeah, I mean, I think Dyche probably knew that he was going to go if they didn't win the game. I mean, he came out in the press conference and said, or one of the interviews, and said along the lines of, another good point, another clean sheet. I'm happy with that. I mean, it was almost like it was a bit of a joke to a degree. Here's my cat. She's not too keen on the Nottingham Forest, though. She's licking the microphone. But I'm with you. I don't think Sean Dyche would have gone down with Nottingham Forest. Dyche doesn't do relegation. I know it wasn't pretty, and I know there's a few negative comments about him in chat, and I kind of agree from a tactical perspective, he's not always there. But there would have been nothing wrong with Sean Dyche till the end of the season. Okay, then you move on, absolutely fine. But this is a problem now because Vitor Pereira, for me, he did come into Wolves and did a good job. But let's remember, he came in at Wolves during the World Cup break in 2024, right? And I think it was then anyway. Or it was a good period for him to come in. Whenever it was, it wasn't like as instant as it needs to be now. And I think ridiculous to say it, Wolves were more settled than what Forest are. The players' heads must be scrambled. Like you're going from Nuno to Ange to Dyche, and they're just starting to get used to Dyche. And now for Pereira again. So we're going to get players in and out the team. He'll have new favourites.
He plays a completely different formation, doesn't he? He plays three at the back. He plays wing backs. Yeah. So again, they're going to have to. They need to have time on the training pitch to sort this out, and they've got European commitments to adhere to as well. So when is he going to get the time to work with these players at a very critical and busy time of the season? It's again, it's the thinking of the owner doesn't go along those lines in terms of logic, in terms of style of play, in terms of getting the players ready to play a different formation, etc. These are all things that coaches need time, but in the world of Nottingham Forest, you just don't get time. You get 3-4 games in this day and age now, and then you're already under pressure just because of the finances involved. And it's clearly the risk that the Forest owner has taken in the summer by spending a lot of money, in fairness to him. I think they've put about 200 million maybe in the summer on a lot of attacking players that actually haven't worked. I mean, they didn't recruit very well at all. But that's a risk that they're now carrying with them in this face of this relegation battle, and the pressure, you can just tell it. It's just all over the club at the moment. The fans are on edge, the players are on edge, the owner's on edge, and it's not a good place to be. And if I was a West Ham fan today, I would be sort of rubbing my hands together and think we might just get out of this, I think.
Yeah, I'm not convinced by this hire. Plus 250 to go down Nottingham Forest, minus 125 West Ham, Leeds 9-1, Tottenham plus 550. They've got hardly any players fit at the moment.
Yeah, lost Odegaard today to a cruciate as well, didn't they? Another one.
It's incredible.
Yeah,
they can't. Spurs can't go down, can they? Or can they?
That would be the biggest story. I think it'd be up there. It'd be up there with the biggest we'd ever seen. I think in terms of just looking at probabilities from a start of the season perspective, it would be one of the biggest shocks. I think. I mean, there were 100-1 only a few weeks ago to go down, so it shows you how things have changed so quickly. But I think they've got enough to find 3 wins from somewhere.
I hope, and I'm not just saying this from a Leeds fan's perspective. I hope Forest go down, and I hope it's at West Ham survive. That would be almost poetic justice. Nuno knocking Forest down. This owner's on a different planet to me. Even last season, he was disappointed they didn't make the Champions League. Like he was angry they didn't make the Champions League. I've got to be careful what I said about him, like I said, but I think he's not handled things as well as he can. But anyway, we wait to see how Vitor Pereira gets on at Nottingham Forest. He's got a massive few games coming up, both domestically and in Europe. Let us know who you think's going to go down at this point. Which team will join Wolves and Burnley? I mean, Burnley are not technically gone yet. They are still drinking at the last chance saloon, but I don't think anyone gives them a prayer. But which of the other teams will go down? Let us know. A funny comment. Byron said, when the wife is nagging me via text while Stephen Lewis is speaking, there is that do not disturb button, Byron, which you can perhaps make a use of. That's for sure. Okay, we've got 2 matches on the slate today. It's Atletico Madrid against Barcelona in the Copa del Rey, and then a big Premier League match as well. Arsenal visiting Brentford. Let's start with the Copa del Rey clash. Atletico Madrid against Barcelona, plus 133 favourites Barcelona, Atletico plus 180, the tie plus 270. They met in the Copa del Rey last season, and there was a 4-4 draw between them, actually. Barcelona eventually going through on aggregate. Atletico, I mean, Simeone, what's his future like? If I was Man United, I'd be going all out for Simeone, by the way. I think he'd be a great fit there. But this is probably, I mean, I don't think they're good enough to win the Champions League. So this is probably the last chance of silverware for Atletico Madrid this season. They did well in the last round. They're going to need a first leg advantage, surely, Lewis, if they're going to make the final.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, I was on yesterday with Dan, and he spoke about the other semi-final first leg, and how the trends in first leg cup semi-finals do normally point towards the unders and both teams to score no. Something I'm a big believer in that too in the first leg. And it played out last night in Athletic Club versus Sociedad. So fair play for Mr. Roebuck there for pinpointing the unders and the both teams to score no, because it landed as a 1-0 win for Sociedad. Just this game, though, it's going to take a very brave man, I think, to put that theory into play here where these two teams are concerned. I mean, as you mentioned, they met last season in the exact same situation here. First leg of the semi-final, 4-4. I mean, that's a crazy first leg score. I'm not sure I've ever seen very rare you'd see a higher scoring first leg in a two-legged semi than that. So even the sort of the recent history between the two as well. 4.4 goals per game across the last 5. Both teams to score landed in 4 of those last 5. So yeah, I was very keen here to see what the numbers were saying regarding what the predicted goal line that I have it at and the what the market is saying. I had the projected goals line here at 3.6. So the fact we can get sort of plus 3.25, minus 108, certainly got my attention. The way the market has actually moved in favour of the unders in the past maybe 10 hours or so. It might be something to do with the Marcus Rashford news. He's missing the game. And I do think Rafinha might be a big doubt for it as well. So maybe the big syndicates here have used their sort of their team news algorithms and how much that affects the way they price up matches now based on player availability. And they've obviously decided that the goal line is too high here. But I think they might put too much weight into those team news situations here. Because I just think this is all about stylistically, and I think these two teams are very well set up to have a go at each other. And I think yes, Rashford missing and Rafinha is going to blunt Barcelona to a certain extent, but I think goals are on the menu here. I would be quite keen on backing all the sort of the traditional overlines here, and so it's the over 3 line, Steve, is the one, and it's at minus 141 at the moment on the goal line. If that gets around sort of minus 130, I think it continues to drift towards that sort of level. I'm going to be having a good bet on that tonight, I think, because it's such a great investment to have. With you obviously just needing over 2.5 goals to land in order to not to lose money to get stakes refunded. If there's exactly 3 goals, that's how I'm going to be sort of just sitting and waiting probably until up until the final moments before kickoff, just to see what this price does. But I would really encourage people here to have a good look at the goals market for this game. So I think the drift that's come on the goals is far too based on the team news. I think it's gone too much one way, and I'm not. I tend to not put that much weight in the team news factor when it comes to this, especially when the price moves too much. So I just want to be with goals here, and that is going to play part of the first leg of the daily double as well. We're going to put the over 2.5 line in and match it up with something in the Arsenal Brentford game.
Yeah, I'm going to play goals as well here. I'm actually happy to take over 3.25 goals, minus 107. The over 3 line now is at minus 139 with Bet Rivers. It's creeping. Yeah,
it's moving that way. It's moving.
Yeah.
I'm going to be very, very tempted to have a good play on that tonight if that continues, because I think that's a great investment to play with these two teams are involved. I just think you're guaranteed to get action in this game, I think. So yeah, I don't mind. I'm more of an unders better traditionally than an overs better, but when the price is right, then I'm happy to go in. And I think if it gets near minus 130, then I'm definitely going to have a bit of that, I think.
I am taking over 10.5 corners in this game. The two highest corner teams in La Liga this season. Barca averaged a ridiculous 7.52 per game, which is no real surprise. But Atletico, really a sneaky corner team, nearly averaged 7 per game. And the way that when these two sides meet each other, none of the last 6 meetings have had less than 9 corners. So you tend to get it sort of punch after punch, really, with these two teams. And you're getting shots, you're getting excitement, and the corners probably will add up with quite a lot of saves as well. Both goalkeepers very good. Likely to palm a few behind for corners in this game. So over 10.5. I'm not laddering it, just one bet over 10.5, because I think we'll probably end up with about 12 or 13. But over 10.5 corners I really like in this match. And I don't think someone did say that historically the Copa del Rey semi-finals can be low on goals, as it was yesterday. But in this particular matchup, I just can't be having that, really. 94% of the money's on Barcelona, even though they're away from home. That really surprised me. I just thought Atletico would get a few more tickets. 87% of the tickets on Barcelona, 91% of the money is on the over in the over-under market. And, we know Barcelona are in great form, though, so I suppose that's why they are getting quite a lot of the money. Just looking through some of the chats, comments here. Brad Betts Footy, good to see you. He mentions that head-to-head as well. 5 of the last 6 have gone over 3.5. And he thinks the over 2.75 is creeping in. I mean, if you get over 2.75 goals at backable odds, then that would be quite something. Looking at some more comments here. Over 3.25 chippy chips. Totally agree with you. That's the same bet that I like. A guy called A is trying to decide between over 3.5 goals or Barcelona and both teams to score. Yes. If I was going for one, I would go over 3.5, because I think you get in then the 2-all draws on your side. Any Atletico big win is on your side as well. 3-3 draw. Maybe you need to cover that 4-4 draw as well. I don't know after last year. But the first part of the daily double, like you said, Lewis, over 2.5 goals in this game, in this Copa del Rey fixture. Let us know what you're betting in it. Any player props that you guys like as well. Dan, we're going to talk about Brentford Arsenal very soon. But before that, I want to remind people who've not used it yet. I know loads of you have been using this one. The bonus bet. Tennis, soccer, basketball, whatever sport you're following right now, bet on it with a February fun bet. Betting Weekly and Bet Rivers have teamed up to give you a $10 bonus bet at Bet Rivers when you enter the bonus code BW201. That is BW201. Offer expires on February the 15th, so you're not got too much longer to use it. Must be 21 and eligible players only. So that February fun bet is still possible for those who have not used it, and you are eligible. Okay, second match then on the day that we're going to talk about. Brentford Arsenal in the Premier League. Brentford, who have had a great season, it must be said. Keith Andrews got to be in consideration for manager of the season, I reckon. Plus 450 for them, plus 290 on the tie, and Arsenal at minus 159. I mean, my initial feeling here is that Arsenal actually look quite backable, really, at minus 159. They are the best team in the Premier League. Brentford have given them some problems in the past, but this professional Gunners outfit surely gets the job done here, don't they, Lewis? Or would you disagree with that?
Well, I hope not. From personal perspective, obviously, I've taken on Arsenal in the Premier League title market, so the pressure that Man City could put them on under over the next few weeks is keeping me very interested in that bet, because I was sort of writing that off a couple of weeks ago. So could do with Brentford doing me a bit of a favour here. Whether it would happen or not, I'd be with you. I think probably Arsenal are obviously the most likely winners. Odds suggest that. Can't really see any juice there. I was originally thinking that this might be an overs game. Over 2.5 looked quite attractive when I think it was the underdog of the two earlier in the week. But the prices have moved now. And since I've done a little bit more research on the game, I'm actually sort of leaning towards the unders now, because the price is a big sort of U-turn to do between one aspect and the other. But it's to do with the how much set piece output I think is going to really affect the goals in this game. And it's something I'm sort of incorporating into my my modelling now is teams and how well they defend set pieces, and putting that into the mix really as well. And we've got two teams here that are just brilliant at defending set pieces, because Brentford have conceded just 4 goals this season from set pieces. That's the best record of any team in the Premier League. And Arsenal have conceded just 5, and that's the second best record in the league. And the expected goals against numbers as well just completely row alongside that theory. So with it being such an important part of the game this season, set pieces, I mean, we're getting 0.8 goals per game from set pieces in the Premier League this season. That's up 0.2 from last season. So there's such a huge difference in how games are being decided now by set pieces. So if you've got two teams that defend them probably better than any other team in the country, that is going to negate the attacking threat that both Arsenal and Brentford bring to the table, in my opinion. So Arsenal, obviously, set-piece machine going forward, aren't they? I mean, 15 goals already scored this season, led the way in that metric last season as well. And Brentford as well, who are managed by their former set-piece coach. So very set-piece orientated team as well. And Michael Coyote's throw-ins are just something you need to watch, really. It is an amazing weapon they have in their artillery. But I think both that part of the game tonight might just be blunted by the fact these two are so good at defending set pieces. So that does just make me think there might be a bit of juice in this under 2.5 liner at minus 105. Not official play, but if you offered Arsenal a scrappy 1-0 win now, a 2-0 win, they'll absolutely take it. And I think this could be just one of those games where they sort of cancel each other out from the weapons of set pieces because they're so good at defending them, and that just might have an overall effect on that goal line. So I've done a bit of a U-turn, incorporating set piece analysis more into the way that I price up goal markets now, and that has played a factor here. So I'm going to keep a close eye on that under 2.5 line. If it gets a little bit bigger, Steve, I may pull the trigger. Just a lean at the moment, though.
Yeah, I mean, the way I see this being probably, I'm not big on anything in this game. I think it's quite a tough one, but I am thinking that 0-1 score to Arsenal. I think they beat Fulham early in the season this sort of way, whereas in the past they used to draw at places like Fulham. I think this Arsenal team now is over that sort of hump a bit, and they do find ways to win these games more often than not now. So yeah, I don't think the ball's going to be in play much. I mean, both teams take forever on set pieces. Yep. Like the ball, this could be a record low. Actually, if we get throw-ins and there's rain,
especially
around
if Arsenal get ahead as well and the game management kicks in, then this could be, and that just goes alongside the theory of an under goal game, doesn't it? If the ball's not in play, the chances of scoring goals dramatically decreases. So yeah, hopefully we get a situation like that if you are going to take the underline.
But in terms of the second part of the Daily Double, you're going into the shot prop market here, in Arsenal specifically. And I'm, for the sake of this bet, hopefully Arsenal don't score early, because you think they might rack up a few shots overall.
Yeah, this sort of rose alongside the fact that I think this probably will be an unders game, and Arsenal may struggle, maybe early doors, just to break Brentford down. But one of the key things we've got to talk about Arsenal here is the fact they have actually started looking a little bit more dangerous from open play of late, and they've looked like they're trying to relish the opportunity that's ahead of them here rather than fearing it in terms of winning the Premier League title. And I do think that's starting to come out in the way they are creating more chances from open play. And just looking at their shots data from the last 9 games since they drew with Liverpool 0-0, averaging 2.5 goals per game, 2.3 XG per game. But the key one for me here, and this is where I've decided to play tonight, is the fact they're averaging 15.5 shots per game across their last 9. And even if you take out the game against Chelsea, the second leg in the Carabao Cup, where they were just 1-0 ahead already and they just defended that lead in that farcical game where Chelsea didn't decide to lay a glove on Arsenal until the last sort of 10 minutes. That means that Arsenal have had 15 or more shots in all 8 of those games. If you take out all that Chelsea game, which was a very unique sort of situation, and the average comes in at 17 shots per game. So it's sort of starting to show some great consistency now with their shots output, and that's when I find consistency within a team, whether it's across any metric at all. I'm very, very keen on trying to sort of eke out some value and try and find the bet where we can. And I think this number is going to be hit again tonight, around sort of 14, 15. So Bet Rivers do offer a market on this, the total Arsenal shots output. And what I'm going to do for the Daily Double here is stick Arsenal over 13.5 shots. So we need them to get 14 or more shots. That's coming in at minus 165. If you double that up with the over 2.5 in the Barcelona game, then you're going to get plus 135. I think that's a nice angle to attack. And if you're just looking at the head-to-heads as well between Arsenal and Brentford, they've cleared this line, the over 13.5 shots line against Brentford in 8 of their last 9 head-to-heads. Brentford are traditionally a team that do soak up pressure. They like to sit deep. They invite. They're happy to defend shots from range. They're happy to sit and soak. So this is where I think Arsenal are going to have obviously a lot of the ball, getting around the box, and if the longer the game stays 0-0, then I think this bet has got a better chance of landing. Obviously, these bets are so reliant upon game state, but just at the moment, Arsenal just starting to look a little bit more dangerous from open play, and that's definitely having an effect on their shots output. And I wouldn't even put people off having some bets here on the 2 high lines available with Bet Rivers here. Over 14.5 shots for Arsenal is -110. And the over 15.5 shots line is +115 as well. So, yeah, a few options there to attack. But if you fancy an Arsenal shots play tonight, whether that's a prop bet, whether that's on their overall shots output, I think it's a really good game to find some value on these Arsenal players, because they're just looking like they're looking a bit more dangerous from open play and getting more shots away at the moment.
The half space has come up with an interesting SGP there. Gyökeres over 1.5 shots. Brentford over 11.5 tackles, and Arsenal over 8.5 free kicks, +175. Love the creativity from people in chat. That Fulham Arsenal game I mentioned, by the way, early in the season, back in end of October, Arsenal did have 16 shots in that game. A 1-0 win. A goal was scored by Trossard in the 58th minute. So that's the sort of game I see again.
Yeah,
Arsenal
I agree.
0-0 half time. Arsenal win the second half 1-0. Probably score around the hour mark, 70 minutes, and then probably control it. And by that stage, they probably have racked up quite a few shots. Just looking through some of the comments, William Jenner says, Brentford, the surprise of the season. I had them in the relegation area before the season. Should they bring back Frank? Well, they won't want to be bringing back Frank now, but I have to say, Brentford, I can't believe. I mean, Keith Andrews, I thought it was a shockingly poor appointment, because, I mean, I used to watch him on Sky as a pundit, and he never really come across as a sort of guy who would have the sort of management skills. Not denying him as a coach. I mean, he was a good set-piece coach and stuff. No denying that part. I never thought he would have the other aspect of managerial qualities to get them where they are. But then, you know, I saw the thing going around about how Brentford managers have a great record at their own club, and then whenever they go anywhere else, they're not very good. It's the club in it as a whole. The club is so well run. Yeah, recruitment's out of his hands completely. And it seems like everyone's singing off the same hymn sheet, whatever. But fair play to Andrews. I'll hold my hands up that, you know, Matt Benham got this one right.
Rarely gets it wrong. Rarely gets it wrong. I mean, yeah. I think me and you could go in as a joint manager at Brentford and still keep them up, Steve, based on the structure and the comfort blanket of how well that club is run. So I think.
But would we stick to the rules though? Like, we would probably want to mix it up a bit, wouldn't we? But clearly, there's directives there that they have to do, and everyone seems to. The players seem to enjoy it. That surprises me the most. I'm just waiting for a really bad run from Brentford to see how Andrews would deal with it, because I'm not sure he would have dealt with it well, but it's never happened. So
he's quite a measured man, isn't he? So he doesn't really get. He's very modern day in terms of the way that modern day managers go about it. Very sort of flat line in terms of his emotions, etc. So I think he'd probably deal with it okay. And that's maybe what they were looking for: someone of that sort of ilk, someone that didn't get too emotional in their decision making. And that's probably how Matthew Benham has made his fortune in what he has done, by being that guy that just stuck to the process and didn't get too up or down in terms of the results, because he knew he was ahead of the game whatsoever. So, yeah, absolutely. The way Brentford is run, and you need to learn, football clubs do not take managers out of Brentford, because it doesn't work. Because
no, don't do that.
Once you take them out of that structure, they fall flat on their arse. So there we go.
No. Linton 2025. Appreciate your comment there about the late Kit Kat, who was a great addition on this channel. I'll get some more comments here. Own goal +760, says Ginepi. Interesting on that. I do like the creativity that chat have so often, Lewis. Gabriel shot on target really high, even against the best set piece defending team. A lot of people have triple captained him on the Premier League Fantasy this week, because Arsenal have got a double game week. They've got Wolves next week.
Yeah.
As the only other double. So it's not often you see a defender triple captain, but I know a lot of people are wanting a good output from Gabriel this particular week. just some betting breakdowns for the game. 93% of the money is on Arsenal. 91% of the tickets are on Arsenal as well. 76% of the money on the over for the game, which isn't that strong in terms of market support, really. 4-figure bet on Brentford over 1.5 first half corners at -110. Just 2 corners needed in the first half for that to cash. Brentford are on my blacklist for corners, though, because they always look for the long throw. When they will take the long throw if they can. It did my head in the other day. Someone, I can't remember what team it was. It might have been Newcastle, actually. A player was desperately tried to avoid a corner. I'm like, why are you doing that? You put it out for a throw-in. Just let it go for the corner. You're better off facing a corner than the Coyote long throw. I just couldn't believe it.
This stinks of a man that was on the corner line, to be honest here, Steve.
I might have been.
Yes.
You know me too well, Lewis.
Yeah, exactly.
You know me too well. Okay, yeah, that's the official daily double. It's on screen there. Arsenal over 13.5 shots. Atletico Madrid against Barcelona over 2.5 goals. It's at +135. And that is going to be it for today's show. It's one of the shortest shows that we've had. Any final questions from chat? Do put them in now, and we can probably answer them. But I know there's definitely other stuff around today. You can watch on Bet Rivers or Bet Rivers app live streams. Royal Antwerp against Anderlecht in the Belgian Cup. FC Midtjylland in action in the Danish Cup. We've got Romanian Cup action as well. Swiss Super League, I think it was Brad Betts who mentioned it. Sion against Basel and Thun against Lausanne. FC Thun, no one's probably ever heard of them. They're 10 points clear at the top of the Swiss Super League. Thun, I've been to their stadium, actually. It's in a beautiful part of Switzerland. I can't quite believe they're 10 points clear of the Swiss Super League. That is a bit of a crazy league, actually. It tends to produce a lot of random winners after the young boys' dominance. But, yeah, I mean, St. Gallen and Lugano are second and third. They've not won it for a while either. Looks like we're going to get another shock winner of that particular league. But you can watch them on the Bet Rivers app. Like I said, there's 4 Brazilian Serie A games as well later on. And, of course, you can watch WTA Doha and ATP Rotterdam, Dallas and Buenos Aires. And a reminder, everyone, Betting Weekly Live bonus bet for those who've not used it yet this month, the February fun bet. Tennis, soccer or basketball, whatever sport you're following right now, bet on it with the February fun bet. Betting Weekly and Bet Rivers have teamed up to give you a $10 bonus bet at Bet Rivers when you enter the bonus code BW201. That's BW201. Offer expires on the 15th of February, and you must be eligible and 21 or over for it. Let's have a look at some more comments here. Do I bet in the Saudi League? No. Do you, Lewis? Saudi League?
No. Unless someone gives me some sort of steer, normally cards related, because it can be some of the derbies out there are quite fiery, I think. But I wouldn't be across it myself. But if someone sends me something across, then I'd happily follow it.
Where do you get your stats from, Lewis? You have access actually to some rather good stats, don't you, from your Sky? You mentioned this. Watch the Betting Zoo series. Pretty sure we touched on this, where you mentioned that.
No, I do use Opta with our relationship with them through my job, but also there is plenty of great free sites out there that you can access. And draw the data that you need to draw. It's there, we live in such great times in terms of people that like to analyze football. I think because there is some great content out there that you can use all relatively cheaply as well. So you just got to. It's all about just finding what works for you as well in terms of layout, in terms of what you're looking to do as well. So everyone's different, but I think we live in really fortunate times. There is so much data out there to be accessible for relatively. Not much money. So, yeah, all for that.
John Tate, Thun win and both teams to score, yes, in the Swiss Super League. Landed in 7 last 8. There you go. If you want a Swiss Super League bet, that's the one. Keep your eye on FC Thun. Real Brandon King says, who has the better chance to win their league, Dortmund or Lons? Well, the real answer is neither are going to win it, but it would be Lons. The Bayern Munich, their stats, they're a total machine. And I think they're 6 points clear as well. At least Lons are within touching distance of PSG. But yeah, so I'd have to say Lons. But I don't think either win it. to be honest, sadly. I'd love to see at least one of them win it.
Lons would be an amazing story if they could win it, wouldn't they? That'd be an incredible shock if they could do it. But
it would be.
PSG going to put their foot down second half of the season, aren't they, across all these major competitions? I'm just waiting for them to sort of spark into some sort of consistent, relentless beast of form that we saw last season. Taking a little bit longer than I thought it would, but I'm sure it's going to come once the nitty-gritty of the Champions League gets going again. Would you agree, Steve?
First time at the weekend. I mean, I'd actually said on the Extra Time show, we've been waiting all season for a really decent PSG performance, and it came, sadly, from my point against Marseille. It was brilliant. They could have won 6 or 7. It would remind me of last season's PSG. First time they've done it. It does help that they were facing a De Zerbi side. You know what De Zerbi sides are like when they fall behind. There's so many holes and spaces. But, yeah, I have to say that was a really confident performance from PSG. And you would expect them to put the hammer down, but they haven't quite been themselves this season. And there might be 2 or 3 injuries away from being in trouble. It's just a team staying with them. Marseille have never managed to do it. Maybe Lens could potentially do it around there as well. But yeah, good luck whatever anyone is taking today across the board. Just a quick reminder of that daily double again. It's Arsenal over 13.5 shots and Atletico Madrid against Barcelona over 2.5 goals. I'm going to be on Betting Weekly Live tomorrow with the hitman. Paul Hughes is going to be around, and we're going to be discussing the FA Cup weekend, 4th round. I think, is it 4th round now? Something like that. 5th round, maybe.
4th round,
it's going to be round. Yeah, 4th. Yeah, and his own team, Newcastle, got a big game against Villa. But we'll be looking through the whole card, tomorrow as well, specifically, but also Saturday and Sunday. So I'm looking forward to that with the hitman, Paul Hughes. Lewis, it was a great pleasure as always. And we will reconvene soon, no doubt, on Betting Weekly Live. Thank you, everyone who joined live or on demand. Remember, please do hit that like button. We need as many likes as we can. And anyone new in, do consider subscribing to the channel. You would be greatly appreciated. Until next time, take care. Remember, gamble responsibly. And I will see you tomorrow with the hitman, like I said, on Betting Weekly Live. Goodbye, all.